How's it going? I'm Jared Gillis. Welcome to another All About RVs. Today I want to go over with you what I would say is the RV essential gear list when you start RVing. When you're new, there are so many different things that you could look at to purchase, but I want to look at what are those essential things that you need to start to get out there and RV. So let's dive into this list. There's only going to be about 10 to 12 things that I think should be in this essential gear list. So a lot of this is going to have to do with setting up your RV or being able to utilize the functions in the RV. So looking at using your water system in the RV, you want to have a way to be able to drain that water. These are going to be hoses specific to RVs, and I like the Rhino Flex hose because it'll kind of hold its shape, it's easy to use, it compacts nicely, and it's easy to store away. So you're going to want a way to be able to empty that black water tank and that gray water tank. Very basic, very simple, very mandatory. The length that you would need would be dependent on your style. If you're just going out on the weekends and you come home and you empty the tanks before you put it away, you might only need 15 feet. Or for us, because we travel all the time, we actually have a 15-foot section and then we have two 10s, just because we're hooking up in a lot of different scenarios. But depending on how you use your RV, just having one length of hose might fit your style of travel. And I would even say a hose support is optional depending on your style. If you're just emptying those tanks at home, you may not need one of those hose supports. For us, it is essential because we're going to these RV parks and we want to elevate our hose, make sure that it flows properly when we have it set up. A lot of RV parks will actually mandate that you have to have your hose elevated. So we have that as an option, but depending on how you RV, may not 100% be essential. The next thing on our list is being able to get that fresh water to the RV. So we want to pick a hose that is drinking water safe. So we have the 0G hose just because they compact so easily. You could get the white hose that's out there that's real easy to find. You can find them at Walmart. You can get them off Amazon. I prefer the 0G 5/8 hose. It's a little bit bigger than the 1/2 inch hose. We prefer the extra flow if we have the option to be able to have a little bit higher pressure, higher flow in the RV, so we go for the 5/8 0G hose. As far as length for the water hose, we prefer the 50-foot length because it gives us a lot of options for being able to connect into the water source. We don't have to be right next to it. And with the 50 feet, we found that most of the time we're always within range of being able to connect up. So 50-foot, 5/8, I'll put a link down in the description because they have different models. They have the Rving, they have the other ones. I'll make sure that the one I put down in the description is drinking water safe. We also want to consider a pressure regulator. If you're just using your RV to go out boondocking and you just fill up the tanks and then you go out, use it with the pump and you come home and empty your tanks, then you wouldn't need a pressure regulator. But if you're gonna be connecting to any other water source at RV parks, I highly recommend getting a pressure regulator because some parks can have extremely high water pressure and you don't want to break any of the pipes inside of the RV. So they have simple pressure regulators that regulate it down to around 40 PSI. We prefer the one that you can adjust and set the PSI coming to your RV. Usually it's good to stick around that 50 PSI mark. Once we get everything switched over in our RV to 100% PEX, we'll probably be running around 60 PSI in the RV. Another thing along in this recommendation, if you're going to be connecting to other RV parks, is to get a water filter. You never quite know what the water source is going to be coming into the RV at the RV park, so having a water filter, and we've done videos on that, that you can filter that water before it reaches your RV is a fantastic idea. Now, next on our list has to do with setting up the RV, and one of the first things that you want is you want to have wheel chock. So when you get to the campground or the campsite, you want to chock your wheels so that your RV is not gonna roll around while you're at your campsite. We prefer these stout rubber wheel chocks. Again, there'll be links down in the description to everything that we talk about in the video today. Also for us in our RV, it was essential that we had those stacking blocks that you can put underneath the landing gear because our landing gear or our leveling system in the back actually doesn't have a ton of travel. So depending on how unlevel your site is, sometimes we needed to put more blocks back there so that we could actually use the auto level and use the stabilizers on the RV. So having those blocks were essential for us being able to set up our RV in different situations. You can also use these to help level your RV. You can stack them up so that you can pull onto them and help level your RV from side to side. For us, for leveling, we prefer to use those RV levelers that are graduated, so they're thicker at one end. They don't have steps. It's just a wedge, so it's thicker on one end, thinner on the other. We like to back right onto those until we get level. We even actually still use these even though our RV has auto level, because sometimes we're going to be so high on one side we would lift wheels off the ground. We prefer not to lift the wheels. It's better for the landing gear. It's not going to bend something. It's better for supporting the entire RV. So we'll back onto these if the site is extreme. We'll get it within eyeball of it being level from side to side, and then we'll let auto level take it from there, and it dials it right in. So if we didn't have auto level, we would definitely use these. Even with having auto level, we've used these a handful of times to make that really unlevel site more manageable. Another thing that I like about these levelers is they're just so compact. You get a decent amount of leveling, being able to raise one side, and it's in such a small package that I can store this probably the easiest possible way without taking up a lot of space. I highly recommend these. They have been fantastic for us. Quick and easy to use. Next on our list are the essentials for connecting the electrical. So first off, you want to have a few adapters. If you have a 50 amp RV, being able to have that adapter connect to a 30 amp source or a 15 or 20 amp source is very valuable when you go out there and gives you a lot of flexibility. These are usually called dog bone adapters, and I like the ones that have that more dog bone shape rather than the puck style. So I'd recommend getting a good set of adapters for your RV. Now, while we're talking about electrical, I always recommend people get a good surge protector or EMS device. These are often just all called surge protectors, but there is a difference between a surge protector and an EMS device. A surge protector will just protect you from surges, usually give you an indication if that pedestal or the RV park is wired properly. The EMS device is going to actively look for any problems and shut down the power if something were to arise. We are definitely overkill when it comes to our surge protectors. We have an EMS device hardwired onto the RV, and this is a portable surge protector. I would recommend an EMS device because it'll do both. You really only need one. And if you have a portable one, the good thing is you don't need to buy multiple. You just buy the one that matches your RV. So if you have a 50 amp RV, get a 50 amp EMS surge protector, and then you just use your adapter to be able to adapt it to what you're plugging into. It's fine to do it that way. You only need one of the EMS surge protectors. The last thing on my list is to be able to have a handful of tools. Bring the tools that you feel comfortable with. I've done videos on this in the past, but I would say at minimum, have the tools on hand to be able to change the tire in your RV. Have a 4-way to be able to remove the lug nuts on the wheel. Have a jack to be able to jack up your RV to be able to get that wheel off and be able to swap out with the spare. But at the minimum, I would say at least have that on hand. So I think that's gonna do it for today. I tried to stick with just the essential stuff that you need to buy as a base when you get an RV, because it can get a little overwhelming. When you look at everything out there and you see everything that you should or could buy, it can be daunting at first. So I wanted to break it down to what I thought should be the essential, and then you can grow from there. You can leave a comment down below if you think anything should be added to this list or something that would be a good idea to buy in the beginning. So I think that's gonna do it for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you wanna see more videos about RVing, hit that subscribe button. And if we don't see you on the road, hopefully we will see you next video.